Alright, in today's video, I wanted to walk you through the best Google Ads strategy for your business. And I was getting this question quite a bit in terms of what bidding strategy should I use? What should be my overall game plan for my account? Like, what ads should I use? And I get this question quite a bit, and I thought, let's make a video, answer the question, and go from there. So I'm going to narrow it down to three different types of strategies in this video because I'm very good at service-based businesses and generating leads for them. I am not the best when it comes to e-commerce. I am not an e-commerce expert. Hats off to you, e-commerce guys. You guys are brilliant. I'm not one of those guys. I don't, know all the, attribution models and the theories that go behind it. I just don't know that. I stay in my lane. I'm good with it, and I'm happy with that. But I still have some thoughts on it, on the best practices and strategies for e-commerce overall. I'm not going to go into depth because I don't know it, but overall, I still have some really good ideas, and I've studied a lot about e-commerce. So I think my opinions hold some merit, not a whole bunch, but some. So I created this little page. What are the general strategies I use inside Google Ads for service-based businesses, specifically the skilled trades we target, like pool installation, HVAC, landscaping, those types of businesses to generate leads for them? Now, when you are trying to generate leads, generally for these companies, we are trying to target phone call leads. We don't really want email inquiry leads just because, one, businesses aren't always great at getting back to the email inquiry leads, and that lowers your conversion rates into turning those people into customers. Uh, with phone call leads, generally people call you, you pick up the phone, and you can have a nice conversation with them, and either it generates business or it doesn't. It's very simple for most business owners, and it generally produces excellent results if set up correctly. Now, what are the two strategies for service-based businesses? The first one is search campaigns with dedicated landing pages. And this is a strategy we use over and over and over again. It almost always produces excellent results for just about any type of market. If they're super, super competitive, generally it does take some time to optimize, and sometimes we may lose money in the first couple months just because we are trying to beat the competition. But that's only in like really, really um, highly competitive markets. Generally, you can make money in the first month. That being said, how do we go about bidding strategies? How do we go about the actual game plan? Now, for search campaigns, right off the bat, you need as much data in the account as possible because you need to know what the search terms you're going to be targeting are, how to create the ads for them, how to, set up the landing pages. All of this relies on you having the data which actual people type in. If you don't have that data, you can't set up the account correctly. You can take a very good guess at it, and sometimes it's very successful. But anyone I meet in terms of Google Ads knows you have to optimize. You maybe 1 millionth out of the time, you may get everything perfect off the bat. But even if a new competitor comes in or something, you still have to optimize. So we have to get the data in the account. We have to optimize. We have to add new keywords. We have to add negatives. We have to change the ad copy up. We have to change the landing page up to make your campaign successful. That being said, we start with a maximize click strategy. We generally set this based on the keyword planner and what the top of end page bids are for the majority of our keywords, and then go from there. If we see we're not getting a lot of clicks or a lot of impressions, we'll raise the maximum cost per click for that limit, and then hopefully we get more clicks in the account and we get more data. Once we have enough conversions in the actual account, we switch over to target cost per acquisition, and this is where Google really takes the reins over. We don't do this early in the account because Google can really go after anything with its automated bidding strategy and really go off the rails. We want to guide it for the first 1 or 2 months, get enough data in the account to show Google what we want to go after, and then give it over to Google, and then go in and check up on everything, make sure Google's staying on the rails, going after the actual leads we want. Because if we hand it over too early, Google might start targeting keywords like HVAC DIY repair or something like that. Something that's not going to give you any like quality leads, but because someone is calling the actual calling or leaving an email inquiry, Google counts that as a good lead, and that's not somewhere where you want to be. So it's very important the first couple months, use a manual or more manual bidding strategy like maximize clicks, get as much data in the account as possible, then switch it over to target CPA or maximize conversions as it's now known, with the target cost per action below. Set your target cost per action to like relatively decent number. We generally go $5 or $10 above whatever Google recommends after the first 1 or 2 months and maximize clicks. This then gives Google enough information and enough room to actually run with the actual account, optimize it, take some risks, and then actually later on really see good results in the account. This is an absolutely amazing strategy, and it produces every single time for us. It's absolutely fantastic, and one that I recommend most businesses in service-based businesses should use and follow when trying to make a successful campaign. Now, the second strategy, if you don't want to use search campaigns, you want a very, very simple campaign, call only ads are the way to go for service based businesses. That being said, they follow the same principles as search campaigns. You really want as much data in the account as possible with all of these campaigns, whether it's e-commerce, search campaigns, call only ads. You need as much data in the account to make, accurate decisions, what keywords you should go after, which ones you should add negatives behind, which, ad copy you should switch up. All of these things are very, very important. Now, with call only ads, we would normally do a maximize click bidding strategy in the first couple months and then switch it over to target cost per acquisition, very similar to search campaigns. But with call only ads, you really need to focus on the keywords with buying intent and really, really watch them, because search ads you can kind of get away with not being super on the like you can take a week or two off managing the account and not much bad stuff will happen. Call only ads, you can burn a lot of money if you're not carefully paying attention to where every single click is going, what keywords are converting, because if you have a phrase match keyword and maybe DIY, maybe HVAC DIY pops up in one of your keywords because you're using phrase or broad match, you can burn a lot of money really quickly because Google will say like, oh, these are great clicks. Keep, turning those out. You just burn a whole bunch of money and the account just dies. So this is very, very important. You really need to pay close attention to your call only ads. I recommend using as much exact match as possible so you know exactly where your ad is going to be popping up and what you're going to be bidding for. And you need to have high buying intent with the customer behind the screen. You need to know that that person is in the market to buy. It's not like, oh, maybe I'm having issues with my repair, my HVAC or pool installation or my, the pool for the pump or the pump for the pool. This needs to be very, very high buying intent because these people are going to call you and they want to, get a quote, something, or an inquiry or an assessment right away. They don't want to wait around. So this is very important. These are very, very high buying intent keywords. Please use very high buying intent keywords when it comes to call only ads. They are a little bit more tricky than search campaigns when it comes to dialing everything in perfectly, just because you really need those high buying intent keywords. Now, on to our last bidding strategy of the three. E-commerce, something I, hold in high regard. People who can run successful e-commerce campaigns, I give them so much credit and so much props. They are very amazing people. That being said, when it comes to e-commerce and which bidding strategy you should use, generally it is maximize conversion value once you have enough data in the account. This is because you want as much money out of whatever you're selling online. So e-commerce, by the way, is selling products online if you're not familiar with that. So say you're selling, sandals or, Monster Energy drinks. I don't know what you're selling, but you're selling something online. People click on your website, they buy it right there, it gets shipped to their house. There is no customer service. They're not calling you. There's no email inquiries. It is one and done generally for email e-commerce campaigns. Now, of course, you can extend the funnel and, add free lead magnets, have an email sequence, blah, 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 blah. But for sake of simplicity, we're just going to leave it at this. When doing this, you want to generally focus on maximize conversion value because you want as much money out of your products as possible. Google is very good at optimizing for the highest return you're going to get for certain products. So say you have you're selling Monster Energy drinks and you're only making $1 off every one you sell, and then you're selling pool tables as well, and you're making $5,000 off pool tables. And Google knows it can get you more sales off pool tables if it spends your money over here as opposed to Monster Energy drinks, and you're going to have a higher profit overall. So it'll spend the money on pool tables and it'll try to get you the most profit possible, which is really nice. That being said, when using e-commerce, generally the best strategy is to use broad match and really let Google Ads run wild with it. Because with e-commerce campaigns, a sale is a sale regardless, as opposed to with service-based businesses. Uh, a lead is not always a lead, depending on the keyword. It can be valuable. Like if someone types in, HVAC DIY, that lead is not going to be valuable. But if someone types in, Monster Energy Drink tips and tricks, and then still buys your product, no one cares what the actual keyword was, provided it ended in a sale. And this is why broad match in e-commerce is very important, because Google is better than a human at doing this. It knows. It'll test out essentially everything, figure out what is leading to purchases, and then optimize this. And sometimes it's just really weird keywords and they convert really well. And a normal human would say, I'm not going to bid on that keyword. It's stupid. Like no one's ever going to purchase it off that. But Google will try everything out, find, these really weird keywords sometimes, get the lowest cost per click, or generally these weird keywords are a very low cost per click, and optimize your account from there. One thing with e-commerce campaigns is generally you burn a lot of money in the first few months just because Google has to optimize for this. And most of the time I see successful campaigns purposely losing money, setting ridiculously high cost per actions um, early in the campaign's life cycle, so it gets a whole bunch of data, feeds it to Google, and then Google optimize later on and really make a lot of money and make the account successful in the long run. So these are the three strategies. If you're going to do search campaigns, I would recommend with maximize click, then switch over to CPA. That's generally the same strategy for call only ads. But with call only ads, you really need to focus on keywords and buying intent. You have to be very, very precise and very careful and constantly watch it. With e-commerce, you really need to let Google Ads, Google AI do the optimization, use broad match, and you can. And I should say this when it comes to the actual strategy. There's a lot of theories that go behind the strategy. I like maximize conversion value for e-commerce. You could also do maximize conversions as well instead of very high cost per acquisition. That's also a very good strategy early on in the campaign. But yeah, e-commerce is not my best domain, but it's a very, very tricky thing at times. And it does take a lot of knowledge to get right and a lot of experience. So those are my thoughts on the best Google Ad strategies for your business, which bidding strategies you should use for each of them. That being said, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them down in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to answer them. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day and take care.